Daily Broadside Day 946. In case you weren't aware, you're not supposed to eat box turtles. I learned that yesterday. I don't eat box turtles, but given the opportunity, I know now to politely decline. So there's that. Apparently their meat, they eat mushrooms that are not consumable for humans. So they'll eat poisonous mushrooms and then it gets soaked into their meat somehow, and that can then transfer over to the meat that you would eat from them. Of course, I think if you're eating box turtle, that's probably, you got probably other bigger fish to fry in life. You know, if you're having to scavenge for box turtles. I mean, I've come across, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 5 box turtles in the wild in my life. You know, there's got to be millions of those things roaming the forest floor, but they hide pretty well, and it's kind of odd because they're weirdly shaped and kind of stick out with the orange on them and whatnot. But you don't run across them that much unless I'm just not looking closely enough, or I don't know where to look for box turtles. But again, you know, if I got to go out and, you know, dinner's reliant on me finding a box turtle, I guess I'm gonna be eating dandelions or something, because I'm probably not gonna be able to find enough box turtles to, you know, feed my family. And how many box turtles does it take to make a meal? You know, you would think like 19 or something. I mean, how much meat is on a box turtle? I think we've discussed box turtles long enough, you know. And one of the good news is, that's why the good news is, I said what I said, came out the other day that, you know, I've never been a fan of the C8 Corvette. Something about the back of it I don't like, but the front of it looks cool. But more to the point, I just don't like the fact that they took the manual transmission. I get why they did it, because you just can't, you know, you're in competition with all the other great cars out there, and you can't put a manual gearbox in there and everybody else is, you know, flipping paddles. You just get smoked. I mean, you just can't, humans can't shift faster than these computers these days. So I understand why they did it, but I don't like it. I don't mind the mid-engine thing, that's cool, but I don't like the fact that they're all automatic. But Tremec has now come out with a transmission that's probably going to cost $11,000. It's going to be a premium no matter what. And you can swap it into the C8, which the only question I have is, where the heck is it going to go? Because it's got that weird console, it looks like a spaceship. Like, you got to find a place to put it. And maybe I'm not as familiar as I should be, but I don't know if there's a place for it to go, you know. I mean, you can manual swap anything. I've manual swapped one of my cars before, and I just cut a hole in the transmission hump, and it, you know, it fit. It was fine. But you know, you gotta have a place to put the dumb thing. But at any rate, when I was at the Corvette Museum a couple years ago in Bowling Green, Kentucky, if you pay an extra fee, they'll deliver. Of course, you know, the museum's like right across the street from the Corvette plant, and they'll deliver it to the museum, and you can take ownership of it in the lobby, which is kind of, I mean, that's cool, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't know what it costs. But let's talk about cars for a minute, okay? I think that people, I mean, today, it's insane. Like, you got all these videos where they'll go around a dealership. Stan, what do you drive? I've got a 2024 M4 Comp, blah, blah, blah. What's your payment? It's $7,200 a month. I mean, people are paying insane amounts of money. I remember my first new car that I ever had was a 99 Mustang GT, and it was $360 some a month, which at the time was a lot of money. When my rent was like $650, you know, I mean, it was a lot of money back then, right? Relative to what it is now. Now, man, you'd be lucky to get a $360 car payment. People are paying $800, $900, $1,100 for cars, which it blows my mind. You know, I'm down to 7 cars from a grand total of 13 at one time. It's just too much to manage. I don't have a full-time mechanic on hand, and it's just too much to take care of. So I've kind of dwindled it down. I'm shooting for like 4, so I got a little ways to go. But the point is, I would rather have 7 cars than one brand new Escalade. I mean, I can go out, I can afford to go out and get a new car. I just have zero interest in it. I just like older stuff, you know. I was putting shocks on something yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, this is so easy. I was like, if this was a fill in the blank, this would be like a 7-hour ordeal, you know. Not to mention the parts cost and whatnot. But the point is this, okay? If you're paying $900 a month for a car, why don't you go out and get something? Like, you could go get a used car, as long as the body is straight and not rusted. You can go out and buy you a 97 F-150 with a blown motor, no transmission, and needs tires and all that stuff. You buy that thing for $6,000, $7,000 and go have a motor. I mean, you get a crate motor for $4 or $5 grand. Slap that bitch in there, rebuild a transmission for a few $100, you know, slap some good tires on it. You could be in a car for 15, 16 grand, have it paid off in no time, if not just in cash in general, and the thing will run forever, and it's brand new to you. You know, it's crazy. I bought a 1996 Mystic Cobra almost 4 years ago off of Bring a Trailer, and I flew up to Chicago sight unseen. You know, went to the bank, got a check, gave it to him, drove it back 19 hours or however how long it took. It took all, and we didn't get back till, I think I landed at 8 o'clock. It was 4 degrees in Chicago, snow everywhere. I was wearing shorts. Wise choice on my part. And I think we got home at like 12:30 that night. But the point is, that car had 11,000 miles on it, and it was immaculate. It was nicer than the 99 GT I bought brand new. I mean, it was insane. And that car would have run forever. But what I learned from that experience is I'm just not meant to have something that nice. I didn't want to drive it anywhere. I mean, the paint is like $7,000 a quart. It's insane. You can't get anybody to paint it because it had the change in color paint and all that stuff. It was just too nice. I would park it 1.5 miles away from the grocery store just so that no one would park next to it. And I didn't, every time I went in my shop, I was like dancing around it so I didn't accidentally bump into it. It was too nice, okay? I can't own stuff that nice. I'm too rough on things. But it was a beautiful car. And it ran, I mean, every time I started, I was like, I'm in a brand new car. And I didn't break the bank. It was $26,000, you know, which is more than it probably cost new. Actually, I think it was I think that's exactly within like $500 of what it cost new, if I'm not mistaken. I got my 99 GT for $23,600, and I think the Cobras were like $5,500 or something like that. And they're, you know, a little bit more. But the point is, I paid what it was new price in 96 in 2020 or whatever it was. But it was still brand new. It was crazy. You know, I put like $2 grand on it, and then I sold it. And that car just about got hit by cutting someone off. People are dumb. That's a dumb way to start your Sunday morning. But my point is this. You can go on to Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, all these nice websites that have all these cars that are either exotic or they're just really well kept. You know, I've seen Honda Accords on there. A 96 Honda Accord with 22,000 miles on it that sold for, you know, $19,000. Well, that seems insane until you think to yourself, man, that car would run forever. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It would be awesome, you know? What is, anyway, just go out and do that. And yeah, you don't get to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have some new Bentley or whatever. And who cares? You know, who cares what you have? Like, it shouldn't matter. Like, get that out of your head, right? What we got going on here? Somebody's already wrecked and early this morning. But the point is, I don't know what the point is. The point is, you can get nice stuff that's old stuff that you can work on easily. The parts are cheaper, blah, 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 all that stuff. It's good to go. So look into it. Have a good one. Get it.